We landed 35-18 on the year, 18-12 in Big Ten play, and the Boilers have earned their spot here in Omaha. And this morning they opened tournament play against the 12-seeded Michigan State Spartans. This is a new format this season, double elimination in the opening rounds, with the winner of today's bracket eventually facing either top-seeded UCLA or fourth-seeded USC in the quarterfinals on Friday. 2 wins get you there, 1 loss, and you're not done, but the margin shrinks in a hurry. For our Boilers, this is a family that has worked all spring to get to this moment, to Omaha, to the tournament field, a time of year where all bets are off, and you control your own future. As Coach Goff says, our record is 0-0, and let's get the first one. I was able to catch up with Coach this morning, and he had some words about today's game.
Here with Coach Greg Goff right before the Michigan State game. And Coach, a tough way to end the season, but it's about the positives. So what was learned from the 3 losses to Iowa that you guys are going to take forward here in the Big Ten tournament?
Well, hopefully those guys don't like to lose, and that is set on it for 2 or 3 days. And so, hopefully that kind of gets those guys motivated to finish the, Big Ten tournament, be ready to rock and roll for this week.
Now here we are, we're in Omaha. It's been a couple of years, but what is this team ready to do against Michigan State? A familiar foe, you played them earlier in the season. What are you excited about coming into this game here?
Well, I'm just thankful for these guys, We picked to finish 16th out of 17 teams. We finished 5th. Swept Indiana, swept Ohio State, and beat Illinois 2 out of 3. So, I'm really proud of these guys. And, what I told them is that, this is a new season. You throw all the records out, throw all the Matt averages out. What matters now is today. And so, I think these guys are ready to go. We had a good practice yesterday, and I know they're prepared, and they've been waiting for this opportunity all year.
Purdue picked near the bottom in the preseason Big Ten. You guys finished in the top 5.
Right.
How does this team avoid complacency coming into a Big Ten tournament where the expectation is multiple wins?
Well, I just think you guys go one day at a time. Baseball is a game of inches, and so, you just got to show up every day and play your very best, So we need to get off to a good start. We need Coda to give us a good start, and we need our offense to get going this week.
All right, Coach, good luck today.
All right, Bowler up.
Take care.
Thank you.
Craig Combs and the Purdue Baseball SID, Ben Turner here for you on the call here for Game 1. And Ben, what are you excited about here today in Game 1 for the Boilers?
Well, fun to see Purdue back on this field. This is where everybody in college baseball strives to get to, not for the Big Ten tournament, but for the College World Series certainly. But this event has been held now here in Omaha, the Big Ten tournament, since 2018. Debuted here in 2016. Purdue has made it in a lot of even-numbered years, made the championship game in 2018, came back here in 22 and 24, and in many ways this feels like Purdue's most complete team since that 2018 team that also went to a regional little bump in the road to end the season in Des Moines, lost all 3 games. That certainly was not what Purdue had in mind, but really all 3 were competitive games, maybe short of Saturday's action. You feel like Purdue lines up pretty well with the teams in this side of the bracket. Winning the first game is always big. I don't care how the tournament field is set up. If you lose the first game, it makes the job so much more difficult, and especially when it's a 5-12 game against a Michigan State team that, thought it was done as of basically Friday night after, Nebraska had a big lead on Minnesota had a big lead on Nebraska that ended up getting away. Gophers end up getting swept by the Huskers, and Michigan State gets the last seed here in the tournament. Purdue won 2 out of 3 against the Spartans in East Lansing the last weekend of March, but it wasn't easy. They lost the first game of the series in this exact same pitching matchup, taking on Aiden Donovan, Michigan State's best pitcher, with Cole Van Asten on the mound for Purdue. And then Purdue was down 8-1 early in Game 2 of the series, and yet came back and won, and then won the rubber game on Sunday. Got to be confident against Michigan State. Purdue has had their number a little bit here this decade under Greg Goff, but nothing can ever be easy in the Big Ten tournament, it feels like, because everybody's ready to go and everybody's playing to extend their season. And Purdue among them, not only wanting to do well here in the tournament, but also on the bubble still for the NCAA regionals, which is where you want to be. I mean, we love to be locked in like some of these teams, UCLA, USC, Oregon, that are going to be in regionals for sure, but considering what the preseason expectations were for people that follow college baseball, for Purdue to be in this spot, it's been nothing but a success this year.
Well, and the Boilermakers will try to get one of those two victories here early here, 9 o'clock in the morning here in Omaha, Nebraska, and the Boilers already in the field warming up. And so in the field, left to right, Avery Moore in left field, Brandon Rogers in center, and Trey Swiderski in right. Sam Flores at third, Weston Boyle getting his 54th start at shortstop this season. Dylan Drake back in the lineup at second base. Aaron Manius down at first. Jackson Bissett will be holding things down behind home plate and calling the balls and strikes. And Cole Van Assen getting his normal first day of the weekend or Friday start here on a Tuesday afternoon. Cole Van Assen, the junior, comes in a 5.79 ERA, 6-4 record, 60 strikeouts, 15 walks on the season. And Ben Sevier would like to have a get-back game after his last two starts.
Yeah, not his best outings against Indiana and Iowa, unfortunately, but he had been on a good roll for Purdue before that. A stretch that really started with his outing, a quality start at Michigan State to end the month of March. And that's unique how you described it. It's a weekend opening start on a Tuesday, and it's at 9 a.m. local time. So it's bizarre world in many ways, but man, when you get to this time of the year, you never know when the game is going to be played and what day it's going to be on. Regionals tend to stabilize things a little bit on that front, but here in a 12-team field, two different brackets, there's lots in play here. Cole can pound the strike zone. This is a big yard. If you can pitch the contact in this yard, usually you're going to be successful.
335 down the lines, 408 in dead center, and we're ready to play baseball here in Omaha. The first pitch misses for ball one to the leadoff man for the Spartans, Nick Williams. Nick Williams, the senior left fielder. He's tied for the Spartans' lead on the team in average with 331. As that second pitch misses, so an early 2-0 count. Van Assen looks to get adjusted here. It's been an interesting weather situation here in Omaha the last couple of days as Williams chops that one foul for strike one. We got here a couple days ago, Ben. It was summer. It was 90 degrees, 88, 90 degrees outside. It was beautiful, and then had some Midwest weather come through. And if you're in Nebraska, it's no big deal. It's a Tuesday to you, but some weather come through, and it kind of dropped the temperatures. A little chilly out here this morning. Wearing the hoodies as Williams fouls that one away, so 2-2 count now.
And not quite as cold as some of those games that Purdue played in East Lansing at the end of March. It's more of a spring cold versus the end of winter cold, but not what you come to expect a lot of times from Omaha in late May.
I'll definitely take some chili as that one's inside, and it'll fill the count up now. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Williams. Williams leads the Spartans in on-base percentage this season, and he will draw the leadoff walk. And the Spartans are in business here early on. And that's something you don't see very often from Van Assen. If you earn a walk from Cole Van Assen, keep the baseball.
Yeah, good point. And I think he had 5 starts this year where he did not issue a walk, and the first of those 5 were against Michigan State. So not the ideal way to get this game underway, but no doubt Cole and everybody, playing on this field for the first time, there's always going to be a little bit of butterflies, and there's a ground ball perfectly. Oh.
And right between the legs of Weston Boyle, it took a weird hop, and it'll end up in left field, and what looked like a double play ball will be a base hit for the Spartans off the bat of Noah Bright. So the Spartans early on here have runners on first and third.
Yeah, not the ideal start for Purdue. That had 6-4-3 written all over it. And unfortunately threw the wickets on Weston. And Michigan State in business with runners on the corners. Got to minimize now here in this inning.
Well, and we kind of mentioned a little bit here, but the weather has been a little different here. And it's cold and rainy here over the last 2 days. And this field, you can see, looks like it's wet, and it's been rained on for the last couple of days. And so we'll see if the Boilers can make the change defensively. A throw over to first base. And now Kamari Thomas steps in, the sophomore center fielder. Tied for the team leading average at 331.
Yeah, and he's really taken off since Purdue saw Michigan State at the end of March. He did not start all the games of that series in East Lansing and didn't really have much of an impact offensively on it either. And now here he is batting well over 300 and hitting in the 3-hole.
Yeah, 29 RBI and 2 home runs this season for Thomas. As he fouls that one away, it'll be a 1-1 count. Thomas has played in 48 games, started 47. He has come on here towards the back half of the season and now looks to give the Spartans an early 1-0 lead. Bunt laid down, squeeze complete. Flip over to first base. Safe is the call. Manius fielded it and flipped it over to Van Assen, and Van Assen couldn't get the foot on the bag soon enough. And so the Spartans will score the first run of the game after a suicide squeeze from Kamari Thomas.
Well, what we did see from Thomas in East Lansing was that he could definitely run, and he gets the bunt down. It was a very firm bunt, but it was placed well on the right side of the infield, and he was able to beat it out, not only get the run in, but make it to first base as well, and Michigan State capitalizes on that error plus the leadoff walk.
Yeah, he put that one, he almost ran in stereo with the ball down the first baseline.
Love it in stereo, good.
Outside for ball 1 to the junior.
That race to the bag, when it's their fastest guy versus a pitcher. I don't like the defensive team's chances usually.
No, because the pitcher's usually not sprinting over there.
And he's got to keep his eye on the ball, and there's a lot more where the runner can just, put his head down and truck it as fast as possible.
Well, the Spartans take advantage of the Boilers' mistakes here early on. And it's a 2-0 count now to Parker Picot. Swing and a miss for strike 1. A great off-speed pitch there from Van Assen. Picot, the junior right fielder, batting .290 this season. 13 home runs for the Spartans, and that's not even the team lead. That one is lifted high into shallow left, and the catch is made by Avery Moore for the first out of the inning.
Mentioned briefly, but this is a big yard, even bigger than Alexander Field in many ways, especially to the power alleys. You really got to hit it to get it out of here. 330 to 35 to the corners, 375 to those alleys, and 408, which is a familiar number for Purdue fans, to straightaway center.
You're really going to have to.
But because of those dimensions, the outfield also plays big in terms of there can be a lot of hits, bloop hits, etc., kind of like similar to what you might see Coors Field in Colorado. Because it's a bigger yard, there's a more outfield to cover for the guys.
We'll have to see how that plays along here. That one is chopped into left. It's going to get into that shallow spot in left field. And Moore plays it and relays it into Flores. So a base hit for Isaac Sturgis.
Michigan State, I think, scored 18 runs in Saturday's win against Illinois State when it wasn't sure if that was going to be the last game of the season or not, because they were waiting to see what happened to Minnesota. And sometimes that makes a team a little bit dangerous because, they're playing with house money at this point in the season. Now, they did have to make the long trip from East Lansing to Omaha kind of at the last minute, but if you're going to come all this way, you might as well have a good showing, and this is a pretty good first inning, that's for sure, for Sparty.
Another base hit as that one's ripped into left by Seymour. And 2 runs are going to score, and Michigan State is going to take the early 3-0 lead. And Ben, you mentioned it, you look down in that Spartan dugout, and they are fired up. Coming off the bus after a big series against Illinois State, and they are continuing to keep the engines flowing here. And it's 3-0, and now a conversation will be had out on the mound as Van Assen has given up back-to-back base hits.
Yeah, this is a situation where Purdue cannot go early, to get him short of a complete meltdown, because you need length out of as many guys as possible. So the Boilermakers are going to have to figure something out here, but just a rough start to the inning with the walk and then the E6. Kind of put a black cloud over it, and then the middle of the lineup for Michigan State stringing together hits.
Yeah, because if you look back, if the Boilers are able to turn that 6-4-3, the next at bat is a fly out to left field, and we're out of the inning, and there's only 1 run scored, or possibly only 1 run scored. But instead, you have 3 runs, and now Michigan State's starting to put bat on ball, and so Josh Newman out to have a conversation with the infield and CVA and see if he can calm the junior down.
Yeah, certainly would have taken away their opportunity to squeeze bunt. Now they give the Michigan State credit for coming up with some 2-out hits here to keep this inning alive. Well, if there's just only 1 out in the inning, there would be at least 2 outs minimum had Purdue gotten at least 1 out on that ground ball.
So now C.J. Deckinga, freshman third baseman, batting .247 this season. CVA comes back and is able to find the strike zone for strike 1.
There's also a long ways to go, too. Purdue fell into an early hole in its first game of the tournament in 2018 against Ohio State. I want to say down 3-0 after the first inning. Came back and won that game handily. So 9 innings are played for a reason. But you also got to make sure that you minimize or keep it here 3-0, best case scenario.
Last pitch was a called strike, so an 0-2 count now. Outside for ball 1, and yeah, Ben, no disagreeing with you there. And this is a long game ahead of us here. We're still only in the top of the first inning, so a lot of baseball to be played. It's just you don't want to lose it here in the first.
Yeah, that's true. You can lose it in the first sometimes because every inning does matter. It's not volleyball. But you also got to remember you're facing Michigan State's best pitcher, Aiden Donovan, with an ERA below 4. So it's not like this is going to be an easy game offensively.
Called strike 3 as Van Assen gets the backwards K, his first of the day, and there's now 2 outs here in the inning. A big out for the Boilers, especially with runners on first and second still.
Yeah, location for CVA as he hit Bissett right in the mid on the outside corner. And that's a big pitch for the first out. Second out.
So now Ryan McKay takes ball 1. McKay, the junior, batting .231 this season, and he'll play second base.
And his home run against Van Assen in the Friday game, 6th inning in East Lansing, proved to be the game-deciding run.
CVA misses inside for ball 2.
And it was one of only 2 home runs he hit all season. So he picked a good spot for it. Michigan State's right field is notorious for being kind of a short porch with a hill and a high wall over it, and then the Red Cedar River goes beyond that unique structure. And he got it over that hill and fence for a home run into the river. Didn't see a ton of those that weekend. Dylan Drake hit one for Purdue, similar, but lefties can sometimes take advantage of that.
So it's a 3-0 count now to McKay. And McKay will walk on 4 straight pitches as CVA tried pitching around him. Respecting the power, obviously what Ben was mentioning, and what McKay did to the Boilers back in March. So for the second time this inning, Michigan State will have bases loaded.
Yeah, batted around at this point. So this is a big at bat here. This could be a swing point in this game. You get an out here. At least you get out of it with the bases loaded, and they didn't blow it open on you. But you're going to have to face the top of the lineup again next inning, unfortunately, after they batted around.
So now Dayton Murphy will step in after the home plate umpire resets the pitch clock.
Murphy leads the team in hit by pitch here, so you got to make sure you're staying away from the inside corner. And oof, that was close.
I was going to say, I thought you almost called that one.
Yeah.
That was way inside for ball 1. Is Murphy likes to play in the back part of the box, but he's very tight to the plate. Also want to be cognizant of catcher interference as well. Ground ball up the middle, backhanded, flip to second. Safe is the call. Throw to the home. Out at home. So runner was safe at second on the flip, but a heads-up play by Dylan Drake to throw home. And the Boilers get out of the inning. The Spartans put 3 runs on the board on 3 hits, and they will be due up here in the home half of the first. You're listening to Purdue Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app. Back inside Charles Schwab Field here in Omaha, Nebraska. Michigan State with an early 3-0 lead. They took advantage of some Boilermaker mistakes in that first inning, and now Purdue will try to erase that and put some runs on the board themselves. The lineup in the field for the Spartans: in the outfield, Nick Williams, Kamari Thomas in center, Parker Picot in right, CJ Deckinga at third, Dayton Murphy at short, Ryan McKay at second, and Randy Seymour at first. Noah Bright, the catcher, behind home plate. And as we've already talked about a little bit, Aiden Donovan, the starter for the Spartans here on the rubber. The sophomore with a 3.84 ERA this season. 5-3 is his record in 14 appearances. And he will square up against a hungry Purdue Boilermaker lineup here that is ready to put some hits on the ground here this afternoon. And from top to bottom, Brandon Rogers, Aaron Manius, Avery Moore, Sam Flores out of the 4 spot, Jackson Bassett out of the 5. CJ Richmond will be DHing from the 6 hole today. Trey Swiderski, Dylan Drake, and Weston Boyle round out the 9-man batting order. As Rogers will lead things off here. Came back from a month-long injury and has been in the leadoff spot the last 2 weekends. Rogers came back in massive fashion against the Indiana Hoosiers. And a pair of walk-offs and a 7 total RBI in the Boilers' home finale against the Hoosiers. Rogers was the Hoosier killer that weekend. He will look to make a splash here, leading off for Purdue here in the home half of the first. And as Ben has already mentioned, Donovan looked really good against the Boilers back in March. And a good start there for Donovan. A big swing and a miss for Rogers for strike 1. Rogers comes into the game a team-leading .381 batting average this season. Did miss a little bit of time with the broken hand. Suffered in the 6th inning back against Illinois. The 0-1. Rogers squares up, gets it back. It's now going to be a 1-1 count. Brandon Rogers in his 2nd season in West Lafayette. A little bit of a West Coast swing with the Arizona Wildcats, and Rogers lays one down. Donovan off that mound to play it, and Rogers can't beat out the throw, and that'll be the first out of the inning.
Yeah, excellent play by Donovan to get off the mound as quickly as he did and get that out. He was the only one that's going to have a chance to throw out Rogers, and he did it.
So Rogers isn't able to fool the Spartan defense, and now Aaron Manius will step in. The senior lefty is batting .346 this season. Big swing from Manius, and no one home for strike one. Manius, the 6'2" redshirt senior from Uxbridge, Ontario. A little bit of a homecoming. He transferred from Nebraska, so not his first time in the state of Nebraska as Donovan finds that one in the zone for strike two.
An injury, I think it was a labrum injury for Manius in his shoulder, prevented him from playing during the 23-24 school year. And he ended up at Purdue in part because of that injury. He's had 2 very good seasons now, 1,000 OPS both years, 9 home runs both years for Purdue. I'm sure if he had been healthy, he'd have gotten some opportunities at Nebraska. It just didn't work out that way.
Well,
But worked out good for Purdue.
Well, and everything that we've seen from Aaron Manius here in West Lafayette, he's an Iron Man. He straps it up and tapes it up, and he's ready to go every single day. And he's trying to get something going here early on. Manius doesn't get all of that one, fouls it down the line. And the first baseman scoops it up, and Seymour steps on the bag for the second out of the inning. So 2 quick outs for the Boilers here. Just not, didn't get all of that one, did Manius. So after the out to Manius, now Avery Moore will step in. Moore, the 6'2" senior from Omaha, Nebraska. Played his high school ball at Millard West. First pitch swinging, lightly fouls that into foul territory down the left field line for strike one. The kinesiology major has been a bright spot for the Boilers over the last couple of weekends. Moore batting .369.
And it was actually against Michigan State where his season took off, including a grand slam and the Saturday comeback win. Craig, he was 2 for 20 on the season going into that weekend. And he finished the regular season batting .369 and hitting over 400 in conference play. That's remarkable.
32 RBI, 6 home runs. Moore goes up the middle, scooped up in a shift by the second baseman. And McKay is able to make the play, and the Boilers are sat down in consecutive order. It is 3-0 as we head to the top of the second inning. You're listening to Purdue Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app. Start of the second inning here at Charles Schwab Field in Omaha, Nebraska. And Michigan State leading Purdue 4-0 as the scoreboard finally updated out here, and Michigan State was able to score the 4th run before the Boilers got the 3rd out in the first inning. So it's a 4-0 score. And the Spartans will start off the second inning the same way they started off the first, at the top of the order. Nick Williams at the plate. Williams walked in his first at bat. Van Assen finds the strike zone, dropping that curveball in there for strike one. Williams in his 162nd at-bat of the season. Van Assen just missing there, and it'll be a 1-1 count. There's 2 quick outs here in the inning, so after the disastrous start to the first 2 innings, the Boilers are seemingly starting to level out here defensively, and CVA starting to pitch to contact and allowing his very able and capable defense to make plays for him. And so now the 4-hole hitter, Parker Picot. Picot 0 for 2 today. Van Assen has been very successful over the cleanup man for the Spartans. Ball 1 was the call, the first pitch. Ball 2 as that one's outside. Out here at Charles Schwab Field here in Omaha, Nebraska, the opening day of the 2026 Big Ten tournament. As Cole Van Assen finds the strike zone there for strike 1 on Picot. Boilers first time to Omaha since 2024. And that one is crushed into left field, and Picot hits that one a ton into the seats. And it is now 8-0 after Picot hits his 14th home run of the season. An inning that was looking good for the Boilermakers defensively. And then that one just got served up on a platter to Picot, and he hits a bomb. And it does look like there is some action in the Boilermakers bullpen down the left side. But still here in the 4th, 2 outs in the inning. Spartans now have 8 runs on 9 hits. And that one's hit into center, and Brandon Rogers will track it down and make the grab for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Spartans bring 4 to the plate, and the Boilers set down 3 of them, but the big one was the home run from Picot. And it's an 8-0 spot for the Spartans as we head to the home half of the 4th inning. The Boilermakers needing to wake up the offensive bats. And you're listening to Purdue Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app. For strike 2. A fun little story here for you. They've been flashing some stuff on the screens during the breaks here, and we talked about the longest baseball game ever, the longest professional baseball game ever. It's that 0-2 pitch is grounded into the glove of the shortstop, and Boyle flips it over to first base for the 1st out of the inning. But the longest game in professional baseball history was a 33-inning, yeah, you heard that right, a 33-inning AAA marathon between the Pawtucket Red Sox and the Rochester Red Wings. The game took 8 hours and 25 minutes to complete. The game is famous for featuring future Hall of Famers Cal Ripken Jr. and Wade Boggs, but an 8-hour and 25-minute marathon, I can't even imagine. As that first pitch is grounded into the glove of Weston Boyle, and the second out of the inning comes out of the hands of the freshman shortstop. There's 2 down now here for the Spartans in the 6th. Cole Van Asten is starting to warm up here as the sun starts to peek out here at Charles Schwab Field. Hopefully the sun is starting to peek out for the Boilermaker bats after they get out of this inning defensively. And now Noah Bright at the plate with 2 outs and nobody aboard. But the hard part for Purdue is having to erase the 7 runs scored in the first 2 innings. And that pitch is outside for ball 2. It's a 2-0 count to Bright. And now it'll be a 3-0 count as Van Assen misses. But the task at hand right now is stringing together a couple of base hits and trying to put some runs on the board here. 8-0 is the score right now. And the Boilers have yet to register a base hit. But the last couple of innings have looked good defensively. And the 3rd out of the inning will come from the shortstop Boyle over to first base, and Manius can't scoop it. Looked like it was going to be the 3rd out of the inning. Boyle played it off the short hop and then a quick throw over to Manius, but he can't scoop it. So just like that, the Spartans have another base runner in the form of Noah Bright. Still 2 outs in the inning, but it seems like anything that can go wrong for Purdue here has and will and continue to do so. The 2nd error of the game for the Boilers. Called strike 1 to Kamari Thomas. And that's something that Purdue has done really well over the last few weeks of the season, last month of the season, is limiting errors. But a pair of early ones here. As Thomas fouls that away. And Bright will have to go back to first. But the Boilers trying to limit their errors here and not let the Spartans get any more runs. Purdue's already come back from an 8-1 deficit to the Spartans earlier this season in March. Hit on the ground by Thomas, played by Manius, and he will step on first. And not a 3-up, 3-down inning, but only 4 batters faced in the inning, and now Purdue will have their 7, 8, 9 hitters due up here in the 6th inning, and it's time to start scoring some runs. 8-0 is the deficit. Boilers will try to cut into that when we come back here in just a minute. You're listening to Purdue Baseball on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app.
I got largemouth, smallmouth, rock bass. You got a shark, I guess. You got grouper, a snapper, tuna. Oh my gosh, snook, sheep's head. I'm blanking right now. Blanking. A piranha. That's a good one. That's all I got on top of my head right now.
You know what? You absolutely win that one. I think you had 11 to the
Bottom of the 6th inning here in Omaha, Nebraska. Trey Swiderski will lead things off for the Boilers here. 8-0 is the score. Spartans scored 7 over the first 2, and now the Boilers looking to erase some of those. Still looking for their first hit of the day against Aiden Donovan, who has been sensational for the Spartans. And that one goes right back up the middle, scooped up by the second baseman, throw over to first base. As McKay makes the quick play, and it's the first out of the inning as Purdue, with a collection of ground balls in the infield, haven't really found much at the plate here today. Had a fun video in the break talking to the Purdue Boilermakers about fishing, as that one is reeled in for the first base hit of the day off the bat of Dylan Drake. So no more as Donovan gives up his first base hit of the day, and Purdue finally in business here in the 6th.
Stepping to the plate, the shortstop, number 6, Weston Boyle.
They were talking to the Boilermakers. They did some fun interviews asking them if they could name as many different types of fish as they could. I know that some fish were caught last night at the team dinner. A couple of bass out there. Not anything huge, nothing that you want to frame up, but definitely some fish caught out at the lake last night when it was raining. The Boilermakers try to reel in their first run of the day here. As Boyle behind in the count of 1. Donovan finds the range there for strike 2. And hopefully, now that the gates are opened up and Donovan's given up a hit, the Boilers can add a couple more here. Maybe get that first run of the game. The 0-2. Opposite field. Up into the seats. Getting ever closer to getting us a foul ball up here. I'll have to barehand it if it does, but an 0-2 count to Weston Boyle. Boyle gets under that one. And it's into shallow right field, and the second baseman, McKay, backpedals into right field to make the grab for the second out of the inning. So after the fly out from Boyle, it's back to the top of the batting order, and Brandon Rogers. Rogers has been one of the hottest bats for the Boilers over the last couple of weekends. Rogers fouls that one away. He's misses nearly 5 weeks with a broken left hand, suffering, making a running catch against Illinois. Came back on May 8th against the Hoosiers. The Boilers need Rogers now. Rogers flashes bunt again, but gets it back for ball 1. Rogers was thrown out earlier on in this one. He tried to lay one down, but Donovan made a good play on it and threw Rogers out at first. Rogers will see a 1-1 count. And Donovan finds the strike zone. It's a 1-2 count. Rogers drove in 13 runs back in the March series against the Spartans. He had a 5 RBI in the Sunday victory. A swing and a miss. Drop third strike, and Rogers will be tagged out. Frustration abound for the Boilers. They leave one stranded. And we head to the back third of this one. It's an 8-0 affair as the Spartans dominant here early on, in Purdue. There's 9 outs remaining to get something going here in Game 1 at the Big Ten Tournament. And you're listening to Purdue Baseball on the PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app.
yours today and even more at the merch stand in the concourse behind home plate or shop at shop.big10store.com.
See, we're over here talking, and Terry says, "Oh, I'm horrible at emojis," but Rocco seems pretty confident. Let's play a game of emoji puzzles. Take a look at the screen, friends, and tell me what these emojis mean. Together. So I see a nuclear, maybe a donut, a skateboard, saxophone, a bottle, and a clown. I think we might need a clue. It's a TV show. Maybe a TV show that has donuts, somebody on a skateboard. In the introduction, someone playing a saxophone. France, you want to help him out? Is it The Simpsons? It is The Simpsons! Let's give them a round of applause. Looks like you guys get a prize back. Thanks so much for playing.
Leading off the top of the seventh for the Spartans, right fielder number 11, Parker Pico.
Parker Pico leads off for the Spartans here in the seventh. Van Assen back out for his seventh inning of service. He's gone 6 innings, gave up 9 hits, 4 strikeouts, only 2 walks and 6 earned runs. As Pico hits that one high down the right side. A couple of Boilermakers over there looking to make a grab, but the second baseman trails all the way over, and Drake's able to grab that one near foul territory for the first out of the inning.
Hitter number 8, Isaac Sturgis.
Isaac Sturgis, the batter at the plate for the Spartans. First pitch to Sturgis finds the range for strike 1. Called strike 2 as Sturgis keeps the bat on his shoulders. Fan and miss, drop third strike as Bissett tags Sturgis for the second out of the inning. And Cole Van Assen is starting to warm up here. He has looked good here in the back half of this one. It's just that first and second inning. 4 runs in the first, 3 runs in the second. And aside from the solo home run in the fourth, it really hasn't been a terrible start for Van Assen. It's just those first 2 innings that the Boilermakers can't seem to erase. And now with 2 outs in the inning, Randy Seymour hits that into left, and it's going to find its way to the glove of Avery Moore. So another 3-up, 3-down inning as Van to it.
Drake ambushed him on the first pitch. Nice catch by Thomas. Center fielders have been busy in this game. And Thomas left quite the skid marks on the warning track out there in straightaway center field. Drake hit that ball as far as you can. Zach Zykowski's going to get a chance here as a pinch hitter. Drake does get a sacrifice fly on that.
So Jackson Bissett did score from third, so it's 8-4. And now in a pinch hit effort, as my partner mentioned, Zach Zykowski at the dish. Zykowski coming in here in a pinch hit effort before the roster turns back over to the top here. But there is 2 outs in the inning, so the Boilers are down to their last out. So the only thing we're looking for here is to load the bases, but that one was inside for ball 2. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but a lot to be done with only 1 away. With only 1 out to go, excuse me. So a 2-0 count to the pinch hitter, Zach Zykowski. Higgins finds the strike zone there. It's 2-1. Higgins checks the runner over at first on the 2-1. In the dirt, it's 3-1. So you have Brandon Rogers waiting in the on-deck circle. And you would have runners on first and second here if Zykowski walks. It's a 3-1 count. And Zykowski flips the bat, anticipating ball 4, and he will have to go pick the bat back up as Josh Shepis said that's strike 2. So now a full count.
Greg Goff had an offensive timeout to burn. He decided that this was the time to use it. I agree, no doubt, as you want to reset Zykowski a little bit and at least give him a chance to extend this game.
Use them if you got them. And the Boilers down to their last strike. It's a full count to Zach Zykowski. 2 down here in the 9th, runner on first in a 4-run ball game. Payoff.
Another hit by pitch.
Another hit by pitch. And Purdue isn't out of the woods yet, but we are still alive here. First and second with 2 outs.
So just to Purdue had that offensive timeout to burn, Jake Boss is going to ask for a review that maybe Zykowski stuck his elbow out over the corner, and should that have been a strike? Michigan State figuring it has nothing to lose here either.
I know we have a different vantage point from being up here in the press box, but it appears as if that one would have been high for ball 4 anyways. I understand Jake Boss wanted to use the timeout, but and then it will be reviewed here, and they're going to go ahead and take a peek at it. We'll have our first review of the afternoon or early morning, depending on which part of the country you're watching and you're listening to this game in.
The previous play is under review.
So as it stands right now, Purdue has runners on first and second. 2 outs here, bottom of the 9th inning. Brandon Rogers is the batter due up at the plate. So back to the top of the order for the Boilers. But the review right now is Jake Boss checking to see if Zykowski kind of put his arm out there or could have gotten out of the way of it. Look down right now and see Barrett Serrato down talking to Brandon Rogers. Rogers will be due up here.
He certainly had a flair for the dramatic. The final home weekend at Alexander.
Well, I think at this point in time, a base hit. Can't get it all back in the one swing.
Just keep the line moving.
Yep, keep the line moving. Next man up. And so here come the umpires, and we're going to get a call here. And so the call will go in favor of the good guys. It stands as called, so runner on first and Zach Zykowski. First and second, 2 outs, and now Brandon Rogers. Hitting coach Barrett Serrato was down giving Rogers some final words of encouragement here. In a huge at bat. Rogers is 1 for 4 today, but he did have an RBI double in his last at bat.
Already faced way more pressure in those games against IU than this one.
Swing and a miss, strike 1 as Higgins pulls out 93 miles an hour and puts it by Rogers.
Michigan State not guarding the line on the right first base side.
You can see if Rogers goes opposite.
Remember, that's where he got the hit against Indiana, was that double down the first base line. They got the shift on the left side of the field after he got the base hit through the right side last time up.
Outside for ball 1. And Rogers' base hit, his lone base hit today also was an opposite field hit. He poked into right field into that huge gap between the first and second baseman and the shift of the Spartans. 1-1 count. Outside for ball 2. Rogers ahead in the count here. And you have Aaron Manius on deck. Manius would represent the tying run. And huge swing and a miss there from Rogers. 93 miles an hour from Higgins. So now Rogers has to be defensive. Can't swing at anything off the plate. 2-2 count here, bottom of the 9th. Runners on first and second for the Boilermakers. Rogers trying to keep this one going. What a check swing from the senior from Chicago. Rogers pulls the string and keeps it back. It's a full count now.
Yeah, runners will be in motion. Good speed aboard for Purdue with Zykowski and Swiderski.
Here we go here. 3-2 count. Bottom 9. Rogers staying alive, fouls that one into the seats. We saw a similar at bat that Trey Swiderski had here in this inning. Rogers now trying to do the same. Big time moment. Haven't been a lot of them here today for the Boilers, but this is a big opportunity here. 3-2. Rogers fouls another one away. Just keep buying yourself an opportunity. That's the motto here in the bottom of the 9th. Boilers have put 2 on the board in each of the last 2 innings. Greg Goff giving some words to Rogers at home plate.
Yeah, there are no signs at this point. It's put the ball in play and run. Boilers run. The Ski Brothers.
3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Higgins comes with the off-speed stuff and sits Rogers down. The comeback bid stopped short here in the 9th. Purdue will leave 2 runners on base, and they will lose game 1 here of the Big Ten tournament 8-4. Again, with a lot of questions left unanswered for Purdue. And seemingly a lot of meat left on the bone, especially, Ben, what we saw over the last 2 innings as Purdue seemingly started to wake up at the plate.
They did, and the life that we've seen all season where no game is over was there. Some good at-bats in the last couple innings, but you just can't put yourself in a 7-0 hole and 8-0 after 4 and expect to win, postseason games. So unfortunately, the slow start gets Purdue on this day. But you have another day to play and day to fight and just try to extend the season. We'll see if it's the Hawkeyes or Illini Wednesday morning.
Yep, you live to play another day here in the first half of the week, a double elimination style tournament here in the Big Ten Conference. Purdue will lose the game here 11-7, and as my partner mentioned, Purdue will now move into game number 5 in your bracket at home. And it will be tomorrow morning here at 9 a.m. And we will await to see whether that will be the Hawkeyes or the Fighting Illini. That game will start here around 1 o'clock. But the Purdue Boilermakers drop game 1 here at the Big Ten tournament, 8-4. 8-4 is the final score. A tough break here for the Boilers, but we will see how this one plays out. I want to thank you for joining us here this morning, this early morning here in the Central Standard Time at 9 a.m. But Purdue loses 8-4 to the Michigan State Spartans, and we live to play another day. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on PurdueSports.com and the Purdue Sports app. For my partner Ben Turner, I'm Craig Combs. We will see you tomorrow here in the morning for another edition of Breakfast Baseball here in the Big Ten. Purdue looking to rebound tomorrow here in Omaha.